Bearcat Bounce Podcast. Back at it again. Hey, it's a Monday. It's a happy Monday. It's a not one, not two, not three, not four. Yes, four. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yes, that's right. 4 wins, which would mean this would be the 5th win, getting to talk about the 4 wins on Monday night in a rehash and a happiness of the first ever Big 12 win for the football program. 3 straight victories to open the 2023-2024 basketball season. And of course, just happiness abounding left and right as it is coming up winning. This entire week has been nothing but wins. Well, except for one other topic, which we'll touch on a lot later in the show. But we're going to talk about winning, man. This is a happy pod. This is an upbeat pod. This is a Monday where we get to come on glowingly and review all of the success that has happened within the past week. It's also Monday where I'm going to bring in my guys. And we got another guy who's back on the pod after a couple weeks off. I don't know if he's joined well during this intro or not, but he is coming back. So without further ado.
He's back.
Oh, he's back. So without further ado,
back, baby.
We got guys, we got pals, we got all 4 together at once. That's right. Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, Ryan Royer. Gentlemen, how are we?
We won.
I'm good.
We won. It's a miracle.
Woo!
When's the
I found one of my favorite bags of chips ever today.
Another win.
Another win on your Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, have you ever had them, Royer?
Continuing. No, they look good as hell though.
Oh,
wait, what kind of chips?
Outstanding. Here, hold on 1 second. I'll go get the bag and show you.
Okay, I'm excited. This is an exciting pod. We're so upbeat about all these wins. I think Aaron's going to be off his phone for the entire pod. He's going to be locked in, ready to just smile from ear to ear.
Tweeting out the show link right now.
I know. I'm just saying, excitement. What we got?
Whoa!
What is
victory chips?
Interesting.
Have you ever had Tapatio?
Yeah, I've had Tapatio.
I have not.
On a Dorito.
Yeah. These are my favorites ever.
Is
my
it
favorite Doritos.
Where'd you find this?
Just at the grocery store by my house. I would randomly, when I'm on the road doing AAU stuff, I'll randomly find them in some gas station, like in the middle of absolute nowhere. And that's how I had them the first time. I find them like once every 4 or 5 years. I find a bag.
Okay.
And Kelce had to stop and get something today at the grocery store. And as we were leaving, there they were on the shelf with like a shining light coming out from them. So I got those. And then I had one of my favorite dinners tonight.
Oh. Tell them about
Loco Moco action.
Shouts to Sage Tolatina.
You ever had a Loco Moco, Royer?
No, what is it?
White rice, seasoned burger patty, salt, pepper, garlic, Worcestershire sauce. You fry up the burger. You put the burger on top of the white rice. You cover it with brown gravy and 2 over medium eggs.
Ooh.
And you cut the eggs and the yolk runs down into the burger and the rice with the brown gravy. It's a Hawaiian thing. It's a Hawaiian thing. They are outstanding. Ed, you're an idiot. Ban him, Aaron.
People can like different Doritos. Get out.
No, it's not that he likes a different Dorito. It's that he's never tried this Dorito.
He doesn't like
So how
spicy.
do you know?
He doesn't like spicy.
I should have known. He doesn't.
He thinks the Sprite is spicy. The Sprite at McDonald's is spicy.
Well, that's a fact.
Ed.
That's a fact, but it's not spicy like it's hot. It's spicy like it's spicy.
Right. Like why is it spicy? Like that. Yeah, that kind of spicy. No, I agree. Well, Chad, I will to compound on your chip combo. The road trips to and fro from Cincinnati, the 513 back to Indy it's not good for my my Grippo's barbecue edition.
Oh, I mean, if I like Grippo's is number 1. Yeah. Like if we're doing a chip rating, Grippo's barbecue. There's nothing better on the planet.
Man,
I had some with my ham sandwich for lunch today. and
Okay.
it was one of the bright red bags.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't one of the light red bags. It was one of those one where you pull the first chip out and you go, "Woo,
Oh yeah. We're in
woo."
for a good spice. Good spice hour. Lock it in. I've even started to have a hankering for the sweet Maui onion every once in a while. It's
Yeah, just
a
barbecue.
strange time for the young
Maui
belly
onion, let's go.
over here.
Just
Have you
barbecue.
had those, Royer? They're not bad.
I have. They're not bad.
It's like an interesting bite, and I'm like, what is this flavor? But yeah, well, good, Chad. I'm happy to hear. How are we? Is good. You're in high spirits. I love that. Aaron, how are we, sir?
Good. Just had a day with the baby. No appliances broke today, so that was a good day.
There we go. Survive advance. This is college basketball season. So, Royer, how are we?
I'm good, man. It's been a while since I've been on here, but been a kind of hectic couple of weeks for me. But just happy to be back with you guys and celebrating a rare moment this year for the boys. A victory.
Boys are back.
Let's get to talk about that. Been watching some basketball, getting in some Cats hoops action on my palette.
Nice.
Liking what I'm seeing so far. Especially with our two best players not even some of the two best players not even eligible right now. So it's just like a teaser, just saying like, oh, what could we be with those two guys right now? But yeah, it's been good, man. Good weekend, and just excited to break it all down with you guys.
He's back. Gosh, he's back. Chad, that was good. That is a prepared man right here. The little well, last week was a little interesting.
We worried if you were just done with us. Like I can't talk about losing anymore. I'm no longer a podcaster.
Dude, I had like 2 weeks ago, I had like the worst night ever. I worked till 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And then the weekend, I guess you guys must have established that the show wasn't going to happen because my happy ass was sitting down in this chair Monday night. Like, where's this email? Like, what's going on? Because I was at the Bengals.
Why do you think we were texting you the day before?
I thought you guys were just doing an impromptu show. Like Brett was like, "Hey, can we get someone on here? Like, we're gonna do a little breakdown." I was like, my ass was in a chef's costume at the Bengals game. We were dressed to the nines.
Oh yeah.
It was a good time though.
No, there was a basketball game. We can't do two things at once.
Yeah. I understand.
Costume. Wow.
I thought you guys might have just hopped on and did a quick show.
Yeah,
I was at the arena. I was at the arena.
Yeah.
Well, on Monday?
Yeah. So were you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Locked in. Fifth Third Arena, baby. That's been a beautiful spot the last week as well. But yeah, man.
They've been filling up those lower bowl seats better this year.
Well, kind of. For the last 2 games, that's all they could fill. So yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think the excitement's brewing, if you will. Yeah. You know what? It's kind of strange, when you're frustrated, you drive like a little, like thinking like, oh, what is going on? But when you're happy, boy, oh boy, you're like, Aaron Smith on your phone. You're like Chatty B smiling, playing music real loud, like Royer, just literally going 25 over, all excited because we are back and we are winning. And if that happens, you might accidentally do something, where you need to go to Danco Transmission Auto Care and talk to Danco Joe. Tell him to fix up whatever you just did to your doggone car. Get $10 off an oil change while you're there. Get 10% off your next fixing over at Danco Transmission. We love you, Danco Joe, as always. Just mention the BBP. Mention Chad, Aaron, Ryan. Just mention everyone. Get it all worked out for you. Should we dive into most recent with basketball, or let's wrap up football and then do the heavy b-ball talk like we normally do? But before that, I do need to get Aaron's pulse on the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce saga. You know, they are in love.
Let's
man.
go.
That was
Yeah, that little run over.
Oh,
Karma is the guy on the cheeks, Brent.
yeah. Can you believe that? Oh my god.
This is either the greatest like PR acting job of all time, but I just don't think she
Royer,
needs
this
him.
is legit. Yeah.
I agree.
They're in love, Ryan.
Like
They're gonna get married, from what I can tell. Golly. That's a guy that is happy, and a girl
Papa
that's in
Swift
love.
in the Chiefs lanyard.
Oh yeah. And what was it? They down in Argentina, right? That's where that was.
Yeah.
I mean that takes a lot for a guy on his off weekend to go down to Argentina.
Different hemisphere.
Yeah, I mean that's unlike Travis, but hey, he did it. And the funniest thing going around the internet right now is that picture, Chad. You and Keegan and I were talking about it yesterday at the basketball game, but Royer, I don't know if you've seen it. It's a tweet of Jason and Travis Kelce together
At higher ground, Travis's freshman year.
Yeah.
Could you find that real quick?
Sexiest man alive and
Yeah,
dating Taylor Swift.
Yeah, one of these guys is in the running for Sexiest Man Alive, and the other one is dating Taylor Swift. It's incredible, honestly.
Look again, Donna and Ed have never. No two humans have ever had more success in their only two attempts at parenting than those two.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, what a win! What a win! And then good old Travis saying that Jason's wife is his the best sister-in-law he could ever have. Like it's all just coming together really well.
That picture of Travis proves you're not ugly, you're just poor.
Yeah, right. True.
He had to grow into Trav had to grow into it.
Yeah, but hey, he figured it out, man. He sure as hell figured it out. But
just like us.
Yeah, slow and steady, right? I'm still trying to find that peak. There it is. Look at that picture. I mean,
do we know the boy Zach? Is he a friend?
No,
just a random?
Just a guy on Twitter, I think.
Just a guy that got like over multi-million views on that one tweet. 4.8 million views.
Well done, brother. Well done. I mean, that picture's made the rounds.
Oh yeah.
Over the years, it's not a new picture, but
at the Super Bowl, that was a heavy pick that people were promoting. That was back in Travis's quarterback days.
Yeah, he was a QB at that point in time. Hadn't put the 1 in front of the 8 yet.
Yep.
Jason was already 32 in that picture.
Yeah. Easily.
Did you see the video I tweeted today, guys?
Oh yeah. I watched it.
It was basically a breakdown of like why Jason is the best center to ever play the game. Like it was all this very specific stuff about how great he is in the run game, the screen game, and pass blocking. And some of the stuff that you see on there, it's just like there's no other center that's ever done it like that. They were talking about how like the system that he was in with Chip Kelly, it used to pull both guards, but in college, but in the NFL, it's too hard to pull the right guard all the way to the left side. So they completely changed it and had Jason instead doing the pull in and all these plays where he's like, 8-10 yards down the field, just obliterating a safety or a linebacker. Or there was a bunch of stuff talking about how they actually essentially, he's also a fullback because he can squeeze through the line of scrimmage so quick and get out in front of a run and be like a lead blocker, like a fullback. Like it was just a bunch of stuff that was like, dude, it's like 27 minutes of like, my God, man, nobody's ever done it like that.
The greatest thing is you can I don't know if it ever happened when you were there, Ryan, but I mean, that could be just, added motivation for a center to want to be, I want to keep up the tradition of following the footsteps of Jason Kelce and just all these other good players, obviously, but Jason Kelce being there in the front, just wanted to be like him is just an added
luck.
motivation.
He's the most athletic offensive lineman that's probably ever lived.
Ever. And you see about their one of their roommates, Zach Colares, this Sunday will suit up for his 4th straight Grey Cup in the CFL.
Not surprising.
That's his.
We need to get him on this offseason.
For sure. He's the only quarterback to ever do that in the history of the CFL. 4 straight Grey Cup appearances. So, congrats to him. But yeah,
like Gene Kelly.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's won.
Yeah, the good version.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to throw a Bills jab in there for my roommates, especially with them playing tonight.
I hope they heard it. I want the one guy to come in.
They're playing 2-hand touch football right now.
Oh.
There's like a 2-hand touch rec league, and they're all over it. They're like,
I'm
"Can
sure.
I borrow your gloves?" They got my fucking Bearcat gloves on from football, looking like idiots.
I'm sure that ends well most games.
Yeah.
Golly, fights galore. But that's talking Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce and everything Bearcats. So Aaron, you can come back, brother, because we're about to talk about a win.
I mean, do we timestamp the Taylor
let's
Swift?
timestamp intro and T Swizzle.
All right, Aaron's not
Intro
gonna like that.
and Taylor Swift / Travis Kelce in love.
What Tavis, is that what they're calling it? Tavis?
Yeah, something like that.
Is that the one that's kind of stuck?
It was what we can say Travis Swift or no Taylor Kelce.
Quick pay, you're enough, Brent. Enough. Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next-day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have a cleaning and restroom supply service for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick at 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases. And Brent, I'll just say this.
Yes.
That New Heights Wednesday will be the most watched podcast in the history of podcasts.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Because Jason is going to give him hell.
Yeah.
And it is going to be, oh, kissy with your girlfriend.
You're in love. It'll be great. Tune into that, but only after you watch and listen to this. So
sure.
Let's get on it. First Big 12 win. Tough road trip in Houston, taking on the Cougs. TD ECU Stadium. It kind of reminded me of ECU in the mix, and then I saw the crowd, and I was like, "Wow, we're back in the AAC for a little weekend." But there is a Big 12 is a victory, 24-14. You know what? And simply, the Bearcats are back. I mean, that was just yet again another display of first half outgained the opponent by 100 yards. First half, double the first downs of the opponent. First half, just every single stat that we continue to harp on week in and week out. Yet again, there was the team doing it officially, but also holding a lead in the first half. I want to quickly bring up what was the first touchdown score in the opening series for the Cincinnati offense since the Miami game. In all the Big 12 games, Oklahoma 3-and-out. BYU was the pick six. Iowa State was the missed wide open touchdown pass to D. Wiggins, which was considered the turning point of that game. Baylor was a failed 4th-and-1 at the Baylor 20-yard line. Oklahoma State was the doink 23-yard field goal after Oklahoma State scored on their opening drive. And then UCF was the sack that killed the momentum, leading to a 39-yard field goal make. So, you know what? When you put together a first drive like the Bearcats did on Saturday night, it's a good way to get things heading in the right direction. Chad and Aaron, you guys had a nice little nightcap about the game. So I'm gonna dish down to Royer and just kind of get your thoughts on the last few weeks and kind of what this win does, kind of the whole monkey off the back type thing, positive momentum, this, that, and the other. Your thoughts. Yeah, I've been able to talk. Well, obviously, the last few weeks leading into to this big win.
Yeah, it's nice to find a way to win because we found a way to lose basically all season, and it's kind of just embarrassing to think, well, we just broke the 7-game skid, first Big 12 win, but we're in week 10 of the season. So yeah, it's good to see him win, but when you beat a team like Houston at Houston in the stadium where you felt like you were back in the American Athletic Conference, it wasn't really like pulling anything too hard on me, at least. I thought that, yeah, like I said, there was good things. The run game is going well, like it's been going trending the past couple of games. So it's good to see that. But you win a 24-14 game in a mediocre environment against a mediocre Big 12 team. I don't want to be like Debbie Downer, but it just kind of I am being Debbie Downer. At least the guys are still like playing to win, and I guess everything didn't fold right in. Like I kind of felt like it was trending when you lose 7 games in a row. But yeah, I mean, I was happy for them. I thought they played well across the board. But yeah, I wasn't like jumping up and down, like thinking it was the greatest thing in the world, to be honest with you.
I mean, you mean to tell me homecoming at TDECU Stadium is not an electric environment, man?
Yeah, that was terrible. I mean, I've been proud of kind of how the Bearcat fans have still kind of been showing up for the team, especially when the team's been putting a lot of dog shit out on the field. That's kind of what it is when you lose 7 games in a row and you're just finding every way to lose a game. But like I said, they didn't really do that this week, so there has been slight improvement, which is kind of what I've been begging for. So that's the positive I kind of saw.
There we go.
It's still always that like this team could I always just feel like they can play just so much better because they have the tools. I think they have a good scheme, and I'm always wanting something more, and it's never gonna feel satisfying when you're getting win number 3 in week 10.
Ryan, winning
Here he comes.
is hard.
Okay,
it's
Coach
hard.
Fickle.
Enjoy it.
All right, Fig.
You're allowed to smile for like they gave you a reprieve. Don't be a miserable fuck and just enjoy the win.
I did enjoy it. I was happy for him, but my reflection.
I was happy for him, but I'm over it.
Yeah.
Well,
the lights are brighter on the basketball court right now.
Hey, they are. And we're going to get to that probably sooner rather than later. Aaron, Chad, a couple days removed. Obviously, you had the nightcap there, but just kind of any more reflection that you have thought after the obviously just 10-point win. Probably could have been more. A couple opportunities there, especially that late little try to plunge in from the 1 yard line that was denied, almost a turnover. But just I guess overall thoughts. A couple days removed.
Aaron, go ahead.
For me, I'm just happy they won. I'm still just elated that they won. It makes talking about it far easier. It makes coming in and doing these shows easier. It makes people's comments.
Ryan's here.
People's comments are a little nicer. Yeah, they won and Ryan came back. Weird how that worked out. But if they had lost out, I don't know if we see Ryan until next season. Who knows? But no, it just I'm happy they won. It's not for lack of effort. I don't think it's just been a lot of talk about execution, a lot of talk about discipline, a lot of talk about a lot of different things in between. But regardless, you got another W, and it feels way better being on that side of the column than taking another L.
I mean, Aaron, to your point, like outside of that second half against Iowa State, where I thought it was fair to question their
effort,
their confidence. Like it just looked like a team that was really down on themselves. And at that point, it was like, are they going to be even able internally to rebound and bounce back from this thing? And so I think that speaks volumes to like where they're at. Like, it's not like this is a team that's just been complete dog shit all season. It's been a team that has so many self-inflicted wounds that have cost them 2, 3, 4 games that it's frustrating because they're not, and this is not to say they're good, so I don't want people jumping on me, but they're not as bad as their record says they are. They're still bad. They're not as bad as their record says they are. They're not going out and looking like this is what makes that game makes this game BYU game makes me more angry than any because that team is terrible. I mean, they are bad. They get stomped like 2 out of 3 weeks. It feels like, but it hasn't been effort, and I think that is why a lot of this is even more frustrating because it's correctable stuff that hasn't been corrected, but it was corrected on Saturday. And yeah, there were a few things like take the points at the end of the first half. Deshaun Pace just get down. Like, I know he's trying to make a play for his team. He wants to win the game, but you're up and you've got the ball at the 10-yard line. Get down. Like, your momentum had stopped. When you take your third change of direction to try to go back the other way, it's time to just take a knee and let the offense go from the 10. Like, there were some things that it's like, not again. Like, they hadn't pulled away at either of those 2 points yet, where you felt like they were, there was a good chance they were going to win. And it felt like both of them was like, all right, here we go. Here's that point where,
the point where we do what we've done all year.
Yeah, like
and blow it.
Here's where Lucy pulls the football again, and Charlie Brown ends up flat on his ass, looking up at the sky. But it didn't happen. Yeah, but it didn't happen. So it's a celebration.
I agree. I mean, the thing is, there was probably about 4 different moments where that was kind of the case. I mentioned one was the punt that pretty much Deshaun Pace could have probably tackled the punter.
That was a great move.
Oh, it was fantastic. Little Olay, and then it gets down inside of the 10-yard line, and then there was the 4th and 1 where Emory was under center, and then they call a timeout, comes back out of shotgun, they get stuffed. There's a handful of momentum shifting plays that could have allowed for the home team to use their hundreds of fans in attendance to get them riled up and try and bring home a homecoming win. But
what is that shit, man? That was so bad. I just can't believe it.
It felt like at Temple last year.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it was still they were able to overcome those, and they were able to come up with the plays on their end when needed, especially on defense, man. The turnover battle, Chad, you kind of mentioned it. And Aaron, you did a good job giving the props to Jordan Young, but man, it cannot be stated as loud as possible how good of a game Jordan Young had. I think it's pretty safe to say that was probably his best game as a Bearcat, and he ended up coming off the bench, wasn't even in the starting lineup.
I want to know what his snaps from being on the outside versus on the inside were, like what the ratio is on those snaps.
Yeah, I mean, I don't quite remember, but I think about the big plays he had. He had that one where he tipped it up and Dorian Jones came up with the interception. He had the other play where, it was kind of just a quick pattern out to the left side, and he came up and stuck the guy for no gain. And then he had that one play on 4th and short where he was able to wrangle the Houston player down and bring him up short of the line after review. So
all of those were in the inside of the field, though. None of those were down the sideline. So that's, I guess, where I'm going with
Right.
think
The one where he stuffed him for a no gain was on the outside. So yeah,
but I think that was a route that started on the inside and broke out. I don't think that was a route that started from one of the outside receivers. Is what I'm getting at.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm just curious as to how much his mindset changed playing as like a nickel or a dime corner as opposed to playing that boundary side or playing either outside corner spot for that matter.
He had a great game. It was big play after big play. Yeah, but yeah, it would be interesting to kind of break down the tape there. But Raekwon Atkins getting the start at one corner spot is the first true freshman to start since Royer.
Sauce Gardner.
Hey now, he's not.
Was that the Jordan Young you guys were thinking we were going to get kind of when you were watching him this preseason? So I remember he was every time we would talk, you guys would just be like, "Yeah, Jordan Young's solid outside." Is it just
be a Chad question? But yes. The answer is yes. Sammy Anderson was kind of the one that came on heavy at higher ground, but spring ball it was all Jordan Young. And the thing is, Jordan Young is I don't want to.
He's young.
Words. He's young. He's a
sophomore, right?
He's going to be able to come back and continue to play, and he's getting all these snaps. And we mentioned Atkins at one side, and then how about the play of Kalen Carroll just getting better and better with each snap of he had 3 pass breakups in the game. It was a big time showing out of the 2 freshman corners as well. So a lot of things to build on, if you will. But I want to talk a little bit more about your boy, Aaron, Corey Kiner. The breakaway speed. Did you see how fast he was running on that one long run though?
I saw a tweet somewhere that said he was recorded at 19.9.
19.9.
Still not enough to get the touchdown.
And if he was at 21, it would have been a touchdown.
It's still moving compared to what I feel like I've seen from him this year.
Yeah, he was going. I think his second
longest. Yep.
Yeah, good.
Second longest run of the season. Just also I think 5th time he's been hawked, unfortunately. So,
yeah, for lack of a better word. But Chad, do you think Royer was asking about? Was that the Jordan Young that we kind of expected coming into the season? Is what we saw on Saturday, because he was making plays all over the field.
Yeah, I mean it's it's hard to really count what happened in the spring,
right?
Because there were no receivers here.
Leslie Ando was his biggest match.
Yeah. So. It's what we expected from him or what we were hoping from him, and he delivered. So, maybe the bench, I don't want to call it a benching because I don't think that's necessarily right, but maybe that was a little wake-up call. Or maybe it was, practice throughout the week. It was like, look, man, you're going to have to be better. A little competition. And he woke
sharpens
up.
Iron.
Yeah. Just ask Ben Bryant. That iron was sharpened on Saturday.
FE squared, baby. Royer.
Which version are we using?
Both.
Fill us in. Oh, what's shouts to Ben Bryant? Congrats, man.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. And we were talking all off season, the guys just like how bad we wanted to see him go beat Fickle, just how awesome it would be. And I mean, I wouldn't have thought they had a chance.
No.
But I mean, Ben played amazing. Wisconsin's just kind of skidding right now. And I mean, even Ben, like getting a little foot in the ground, rushing touchdown. I mean, what more can you ask from the guy? Just a solid day, and that's kind of like the Ben Bryant. That's the Ben Bryant you like that he has the ability to be every week. Now that he's healthy, hoping he can close out these next 2 weeks with some more wins, to put some more wins on his belt.
Sticking with the quarterback talk, obviously Corey Kiner was the one that had the big game, but you got to look at the play of both Emory Jones and also Brady Lichtenberg coming off the bench. I thought both of them had some really good moments. I thought this was one of Emory's better games of the entire season. Obviously, it's a win, so you can say that, but 13 of 16, 131 and a touchdown. He was active with his legs, too. Didn't really have as many rushing yards because of all the sacks, but I thought he, broke a couple of gainers, and they're going to still go with this 2 quarterback type, get Brady some extra looks, this, that, and the other. But I thought that when Emory was out there, he was on his game.
This is the first time I've seen a two system quarterback. It's like the perfect time for it, because seasons, like you're not playing for a bowl game. Emory's gone next year, so these are all like good snaps that are quality that Brady's getting to get in there, and I've been impressed with how he stepped up and just kind of like has been like stoic, solid in there too. Its future's brighter than I thought it would be. So I'm proud of Brady, but it's ideal because like Emory was having a pretty bad year, and there's it's all right. Well, we might as well see what Lichtenberg can do at this point, and he's stepping up and getting some good reps, because these reps will carry over really well. I mean, nothing beats game reps, dude. You could go all spring, kind of like we were saying with Jordan Young, the opposite. You can go all spring, and come showtime, like shit ain't the same. And now I'm glad Jordan's on getting it back to his old ways, because those reps will build up for him. But yeah, it's just like the ideal shit show kind of what is getting Brady some good looks.
Chad,
Emory was good against UCF.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like when everybody asks, like, why didn't we see Lichty in the second half against UCF? It was because Emory was good. Like there was, he took the challenge and stepped up. And like, look, man, I know people aren't going to probably have like the fondest memories of the Emory Jones year, which I understand. They lost a lot. But the kid was tough.
Mm-hmm.
The kid did everything that's been asked of him. He stood up in front of the media, took the bullets when things weren't going well. He continued to practice hard. He continued to be a leader on the team. Like, I will remember Emory Jones fondly. I know a lot of people won't, and, we'll get called state news, in talking about it. But he's what you want in a quarterback, even if, ultimately, look, it does come down to wins and losses and good games and bad games, and he didn't have enough good games.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate him. I've appreciated him being around the team this year.
Yeah, right. Like you said, stand-up guy. Obviously some tough games, especially during that losing streak. But hey, the losing streak ended. It's wins, man. And there was that. You referenced the kind of heated meeting that they had on Sunday. That obviously Satterfield mentioned as well, the presser and the weekly presser. And I have to tell you, there's the whole organic chemistry and the whole organic excitement and raising up your teammates and whatnot. But I thought it looked very genuine on the sideline. Every single time that something good happened, obviously everyone was there hyping each other up. And you kind of saw after Kiner's second rushing touchdowns, he kind of went to the bench and like crossed his legs, and you saw first Coach Sims came up and hyped him up. Then Luke Kander comes up, hypes him up. And then, you saw Mason Fletcher have a really good punt. He comes to the sideline. There's, Braden Smith hyping him up. There's, Brady Lichtenberg hyping him up. And then you have the post-game celebration in the locker room. Those are all just positive momentum things that you can carry in to next season, into the off season. If you can figure out a way, because the Big 12 is drunk. It is a drunk conference when it comes to college football, and there is a world where Cincinnati goes to Morgantown, pulls out a win, and then hangs with Kansas and potentially could beat Kansas at home, because it really seems like anyone could be anyone on any given night. I'm not going to say that's what's going to happen, but the momentum seems very real from everything that I can see.
We'll see.
I just meant like the excitement.
I'm not going that far out over my skis quite yet.
I didn't say they're going to win. I said it's like the conference is just drunk.
Yeah, the conference is drunk. I mean, here you go. The circle of suck.
Yeah.
Have you seen this, Royer?
Oh my God. Let me give a better.
Basically, everybody at some point has beaten everybody.
Yep.
All they needed was Cincinnati to get on the board to complete the circle.
We played Oklahoma just as good as anyone, and then we were like, "Holy shit, Oklahoma beats Texas!" Like,
right?
Are we bad? And then all of a sudden we just get stomped on. Then Oklahoma State beats them. And Kansas beat them.
The transitive property to the Big 12th degree.
There we go.
That is good.
Yeah, well, no, Oklahoma State was the hottest team in the country coming into this past weekend, in the entire country,
and got bitch slapped,
got annihilated at the bounce house
by the fucking astronauts.
Oh man,
by Kazoo. Kazoo beat the hell out of the Sooner, it didn't make any sense. Or the Cowboys. Sorry, I was trying to figure out how many people would know the Kazoo joke.
Well, I know the Kazoo.
See that? Luckily, Aaron didn't take me up on my offer to bet his paycheck on Oklahoma State. That would have been.
Wait, for the UCF game?
I was like
2.5.
Oklahoma State is going to beat the piss out of UCF. Right. I'll bet your whole paycheck on it, Aaron. Well, the thought was Central Florida is one of the worst teams in the country at stopping the run.
Yeah, bet responsibly.
And don't bet Aaron's paycheck. He's got appliances to buy.
I don't even know what the word responsibly means.
Yeah, I know. I saw you last night.
Well, you saw me yesterday.
Night. Sorry. I didn't see you last night.
They did say tonight on the broadcast the whole game.
We weren't watching the broadcast. We were at the game.
I'm just telling you.
Oh,
they weren't the only one who thought it was a night game. Yeah.
What were they saying? Oh, to packed house tonight.
Yep.
At Fifth Third Arena.
Yep. Those kinds of things.
Yeah, Chad, I wasn't getting out of my skis saying that they are going to win closing out, but it just is a different feel than like the doomsday vibes that were kind of around the team a couple of weeks ago, following the Baylor loss and even after the UCF loss. It kind of seems like everyone's kind of singing a different tune. So who knows? Carry that momentum in. You got a lot of youngsters out there getting going. Barry Jackson, man, another gets a touch on the first drive and then doesn't get another touch the rest of the game. But I don't know. They won. They figured out a way. And in the end, that's pretty much all that matters.
He's going to have played in 4 games with 4 total touches on the season.
Right. They're like, hey, Barry, amazing first year. We're going to shut you down. We need to that red shirt. Because, I mean, shoot, he's going to be a focal point of the offense for years to come. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. He's shown a lot. Real quick, offensive line has looked great, I think.
Bearcat still some work to do on pass blocking. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Between now and the start of next season, the pass blocking has to improve.
Yeah.
But overall, the run blocking has been elite. The number 5 rush offense in the country. Elite.
Yeah.
And I can't, and we were saying the same shit about pass blocking last year. But
but they couldn't run block either.
Yeah. Which is it's crazy. I mean, the problem is we've kind of got like exposed by not being able to handle blitzing as well the past 2 years. So that just opens Pandora's box on teams just trying everything and anything at you. But sometimes like run blocking, it's not hard. Like people think run blocking, I mean, it is really hard. I'm sorry. People think run blocking can be just so simple. Oh, just go block the guy one way. But like, dude, D linemen like are so big and strong and fast nowadays, and linebackers too, and they fill gaps. And I think it's just crazy the amount of improvement they've made in the run, like Chad, what you were just alluding to, because that shit is hard. It is hard to be consistently good in a Power 5 conference at running the ball.
Especially when you're down.
You're one-dimensional.
Yeah, you're one-dimensional. Yeah. Like,
because I mean, we've ran for over 200 yards now every single 3 weeks in a row?
Almost every single week. I think it was at 190 something this week.
Yeah, but it just like if I was a team, I'd be like, yeah, like just stop the damn run, and we're gonna give these guys their 20th loss in a row. But we keep finding a way. So shout out the boys up front.
Yeah, I mean, like to kind of add on to what you're saying as well, Chad, is yeah, like John Williams has been pretty doggone good at especially run blocking. But I rewatched the bits and pieces of the game.
He got beat bad twice.
Yeah, one of the sacks was he's just standing there, and the guy that was right over him was sacking.
It was Corey. It was Corey. Corey was the only one back there. And
actually, I mean, I believe the guy made a move, and I don't think John saw him because he just went like it didn't happen. Like the guy just went invisible mode on him, went right past his face to the quarterback, and he was like, "Shit, that was bad." Like,
it's insane. It's insane. But yeah, there's been 2 games where they didn't top 200 plus rushing yards. That was Iowa State and Oklahoma, and they are 5th in the country, but they're 0.6 away from being 4th in the country. LSU's 4th in the country, who just had 329 rushing yards on Saturday. So
I thought LSU's offensive coordinator sucked. That's what somebody had told me.
I heard that too.
Awful.
He was horrible.
Just runs it up the middle every time.
Yeah, they run this like
offense.
They run this gimmicky rollout RPO that
they run this gimmicky thing where their quarterback has 75 plays of 20 yards or more.
Right. All gimmicks, man. Jeez. Yeah, they even spell his name wrong sometimes on purpose.
With an M.
Yeah,
with an M instead of an N. Yeah.
I
don't know.
I remember a picture where he had laser eyes. Crazy.
He did. That was nuts. They're like, why is he down here in the bayou? What's going on? And little did we know.
Yeah, he's terrible. Thank God we got him out of town.
Yeah,
now
he only had
he's
3 of the top. I think he only had 3 of the top 5 offenses in program history when he was OC.
Right. We did have a coach. Yeah, Mike Denbrock. He was a good guy. That's a good guy.
Would have been better if he would have let Ryan run.
Yeah,
one of my favorites. I mean, he already admitted he probably should have used Royer at fullback.
Let Royer cook.
Royer.
Cook.
Why didn't you take the Jason Kelce route and become a center?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
You know what's something that you're not going to believe. Brady Collins was literally, he came up to me one day, he's like, let's make you 280. I laughed. He's like, no, I'm serious. Like, let's make you 280 and put you at nose guard. And I was like, dude, I was like going into my 5th year. I was like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, he's like, are you sure? Like, cause we'll do it. And like,
listen here, Royer. I got this crazy idea, Royer.
He's like, you might get some snaps. I was like, I still was like, are you fucking me? He's like, no. I'm like, I'm not, coach. I'm sorry. Like, I'm going to
think about this all morning.
I'll just play kickoff return and be 220. I should have, I thought
I just had 2 monsters in a pouch and I got a great idea.
Yeah, literally. That's literally what happens. He gets his fucking bangs in him and he's like, what do we got, boys? Oh, we got to get Royer beefed up. Get him a nose guard. I thought about going up to Denbrock, and I was like, hey, I'll just put me at like a motion across guy, and just or let me go up through a hole, and just let me like cut the fuck out of a linebacker with my head down, completely spear someone in the thigh, and maybe break my neck. But I always was like, I always felt like I was gonna
Jason Kelce.
Team first.
It's because Freeman, I was like, I couldn't betray Freeman, because if I would have tried to play offense or something, he would have like fucking never let me hear the end of it. So I was like, I'll just stick it out. And by the time it was my 5th year, I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna ride off into the sunset as the spring ball MVP and call it a career.
Well, yeah, because you're starting to think about, okay, well, my post career is one year away. I'm not gonna beef up to 280, and then all of a sudden I got to worry about cutting this weight again. What the hell is this?
The stomach's all big, and food goes down even easier than before. You're like, holy fuck, I'll be 300.
You find new tasty things. You're like, I can't kick this habit. I love the taste of this. But
just crush some Loco Mocos every night, and you'd be there.
There we go.
That sounds good as hell, Chad. I'm gonna need to dip into that.
Just look up Loco Moco on the internet recipe, and it'll show you exactly. It's so easy. White rice, hamburger patty, brown gravy, fried eggs.
I want it from the restaurant that you like.
It's a food truck. It's Sage Tolentino that plays for the basketball team. It's his family's food truck.
Oh shit!
I don't know why.
Did they come? Or is his family?
They used to be on the grid. I don't know if they still are or not, but they were on the grid the last couple of years, like during pregame.
We saw him that one game this year, Chad, but I don't know. Yeah. One more chance to get yourself a little Loco Moco, man. Hit him up, Roy. But yeah, it's a big win back. First win of the Big 12 era. Now it's a road trip to West Virginia.
Look, the good news now, the pressure's off.
Right.
Like that's the good news.
Yeah. And that's good news. But yeah, road trip to West Virginia. West Virginia's, they're whatever. They're better than expected, but they're still a team that pretty rough passing offense. They are 8th in the country in rushing offense, which feeds into the true nose tackle in Dante Corleone, who had a couple of great plays, including a sack on Saturday. And then they're 108th in pass D and 62nd in rush D. So pretty similar to the recent teams that Cincinnati has played. Another trip to Morgantown. Last chance to head to the Holy Grail for the BCJ watch party. So
2:30.
And I'm not going to bet you another G on if it's 3:30 or 2:30.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you owe me $1,000.
Hey, we're getting there. If Newman would have hit that front end of the 2 free throws, you'd be sitting on top of a G, man. But yeah, so we'll see. Another chance for Big 12 win number 2. So let's go ahead and timestamp this though, and we'll roll into a little bit of round ball.
Thrifty said the bad news is we don't have any AAC games left.
That is true. Very true.
You can't hear you.
You're not muted, but you are like
Did you knock
not
your
even
microphone
here.
out? I think your hands knocked your microphone out of whack. You got all excited and nobody knew what
he
you were
had
talking
some like
about.
he was fired up with that.
He was throwing his hands around, waving them around in the air like he just didn't care.
Still can't hear you.
Nope.
What is going on?
I don't know.
How about now?
Oh yeah, you're back.
Okay. I don't remember what I was saying. It's gone.
What were you saying?
I don't remember. It's gone. I was whatever.
Damn it! I needed to hear it. That was the most excitement I've seen out of you tonight.
Gone forever.
Oh, I mean, it's just like it's an old Big East game. UC West Virginia. It's those are old Big East games. So it's not unfamiliar, even though it hasn't happened for over a decade. But
You know what I
It's
did
not like
notice?
playing West Virginia's new. There's been plenty of West Virginia games.
The series record for this game for this matchup is pretty wild. Only 3 wins, 16 losses. It's just like
Yeah, I mean, they played West Virginia a lot when they were really bad because it's right there.
yeah, in like the 40s and like that. So
Yeah.
timestamp this, y'all.
All right, that is your quick paper supply timestamp, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They provide mostly disposable restaurant supplies, products like to-go containers, cups, pizza boxes, to-go bags, can liners, napkins. They've been open since 2009. They're one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Boom, baby. Boom, baby.
Vodka Red Bulls for everybody.
I like it, man. You know what? The funny thing is I did have a couple during the game on Saturday. Made sure we were up and then added those to the rotation. So it's a good night. Real good night. But without
Did that
further,
come out of the $1,000 that you owe me?
no, that was out of the other 1,000 that I won on the Bearcats minus whatever. No. So
Plus. The Bearcats plus whatever.
plus whatever. Rolling into a little bit of round ball. How about this? 69-58, 93-61, 85-73. That's right. Not 1, not 2, but 3 wins opening week for the basketball team. That's right. 3-0 start to the year. Now we get a week off. And then NKU, a little revenge game, if you will. Taking on the Norse on Sunday, 2 p.m. So I tell you what, great start for Wes Miller and the squad. Obviously, we mentioned it before, the elephant in the room, if you will, has been brought up and definitely broken
the
down.
Alien in the room. The alien in the room.
Yeah, two big ones. But yeah, and first off, I want to touch on that a little bit later. First, I want to touch on the play, and Ryan actually has a little riffing with Royer that I'm excited to get from the opening week of basketball. But I tell you what, that little 9-minute talk by Wes was amazing. Truly was amazing. If you haven't heard it, Keegan posted it. It's also on the press conference, and I tell you what, he was pouring his heart out, and everyone needs to go and listen to it about Aziz and Jamil as well. So that's that. But we are here to talk about the 3 wins first and foremost. Most recent coming against Eastern Washington on Sunday, and that was Victor Lakhin's career high in points. We called him Steph Victor Curry Lakhin on his second 3. His first 3, Chad, I don't know if you saw it live, or Aaron, you probably saw it. Rory, you probably saw it.
I was there. I did see it live. Yeah.
I didn't know if you were looking down or looking up or whatever. It was the weirdest looking
Eating
shot I've seen.
nachos.
It was weird.
No, that was Friday. Friday was the nachos.
It was a weird looking shot on.
He even said post game he didn't think he was going to make that one. It didn't feel good coming out.
Right, and then the second one, immediately he put both hands up, with the 3s, like immediately called it in, and he was right. So shouts to Victor Lakhin. It was more him getting back down to the post and dominating the post game more so than anything else. But I guess 1 week down before we passed it down to riffing with Royer, I guess just overall thought on the basketball team now 1 week in. Chad,
balance.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of what we thought would have to be the case coming in, because I just didn't see anyone that was just a consistent 15, 17, 18 point a game scorer. But I saw a bunch of 12, 13, 14 point a game guys. And guess what? That's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing 3, 4 guys right in that 10 to 14 point range. Obviously, Vic busted up to 26. You're going to see games where CMOS is in the 20s. You're going to see games where CJ is in the 20s. I'm feeling a little more confident now. You're going to see a game or two where Day is up in the 20s. But when you don't have that, like, we were pretty sure if Cincinnati was going to be good last year, Landers and Dave were both going to have 15 to 17 points. Like, and there just wasn't a whole lot behind them unless Jeremiah had one of his like hot shooting days, or Vic had some games where he was up there.
Right.
But this is a team, it feels like there's 5-6 guys that can all consistently be double-digit type guys. And when you do that, you're consistently going to be in the 70s. And, that's kind of going to be, I think, the key for this team's success. The other thing is, I know a lot is being made about the rim protection, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely agree. They've got to be better at protecting the rim. But so far, this has been an elite perimeter defense. They are doing an outstanding job staying with shooters, contesting jump shots, running guys off the three-point line. Like, if you're going to be bad at one, you better be good at the other. And so far, that's what we've seen.
Agreed. Aaron?
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Mr. Aaron?
I just enjoyed the fact that anyone on this team can dunk at any given moment. I've been happy with how fast the offense moves. There's no iso ball. It doesn't feel very. They're just always moving. The ball's always moving. The players are always moving. It doesn't seem like the ball just kind of stops and dies for 10 seconds at a time, like we've grown accustomed to over the last couple of years. And granted, we haven't played anybody that has been a super tough team at this point. But I'm looking forward to this team getting tested when they play a Xavier, when they play a Dayton, and then finally get into that Big 12 play, because from what I've seen right now, I like to think that they're going to be able to hang with anybody on their team or anybody on their schedule right now. Non-con there should be nothing to like where we're blown out and wondering what the hell just happened. But I'm feeling better and better as the games progress, and we see the game over game improvement from Day, from Jizzle, from just different guys stepping up, whether it be CJ hitting some threes, or when he has an off night, Vic steps up and has 26 points. So and vice versa when Vic was off the first couple of games. So I think that there's certainly, I think Chad used the word balance, and I think that's totally fair.
One of the things about balance that I think people don't talk about, Aaron, is number of shots. This team doesn't have anybody, it feels like they need to take 12 shots a game, 10, 12 shots a game. Like,
that's a good thing.
Right. It feels like so far, like the guy that has the matchup or the guy that has the hot hand is going to ride that to a larger number of shots. But ultimately, like, it's not in the, if we did 3 keys for basketball last year, the keys often were going to be get Dave and Landers 15 shots each.
Yeah.
Because that was your best chance to win.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like, at least to this point, like they're in a situation where you're going to have to force feed somebody a certain number of shots for you to be in the game with a shot to win.
How much of that is building confidence in the other players on the court, though? Whether you're talking a Day or a Jizzle or a Dan or even an Odie in his limited shots, or a John Newman in the way that he's been on of late, or allowing a guy.
You don't feel the stress of like having to, like, I have to take this shot.
Or allowing a guy like Vic, who gets so frustrated, to have 2 off games and then come back and have a monster game, or a guy like CJ to have 2 good games behind the arc and then have an off game and then be able to come back out because he's already built up that confidence in the first 2 games. Like, I think that's where you're going to see just so much of the load taken off of other guys, because everybody else has been able to stack nights.
And here's the other part of that that's good for this team, Aaron, is as the tape gets out, the defense isn't just going to be able to say,
can't
take
key on
away
anybody,
this. Take away this, and you shut them down. I mean, for 2 years, it was stop Dave, and there was a real good chance you were going to beat Cincinnati, even with Landers. Like, if you took Julius away, there was a pretty damn good chance they weren't going to have enough firepower to win the game. So it's a excellent point, Aaron. Great job.
Hedge hard on that high ball screen when David DeJulius has the ball.
Right. Hedge hard, push him back.
Push him
back.
Don't
let him get into his step back.
Yeah.
Don't let him get into his dribble package.
Pretty easy.
And you can beat Cincinnati. I don't think you're going to have that yet. And I still think Seamas is the best offensive player on this team, and we haven't even seen him get close to on track yet.
Right. Well, and also what that does for you as well is you can actually game plan to attack the advantage that you have. It's
right
when you have numerous. At times, it's all 5 players.
Yesterday, it's perfect.
They
like Eastern Washington said, we're keeping CJ Frederick from getting hot. Okay, well then CJ will just move the ball.
Yeah,
and that way the ball doesn't stick, and he's not trying to force something that isn't there. If you substitute CJ for Landers, Landers was going to stop the ball, and pump fake, and try to get into his game, and that stops the offense. And what happens when the offense stops? The defense resets,
right,
and the defense can get into a position where they're better suited. Excuse me, to defend you.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just it's basketball 101. When you see it happening in front of you, it's a lot easier to describe and explain.
Yeah, well, and also you saw they were focusing so hard on getting CJ out of it to the point where it did seem like Vic had a ton of one-on-one looks in the post. They weren't helping down at all off the perimeter.
Well, they had a big guy, so they were just playing him straight up so that they could. And guess what, Brent? That's what happens when you make 13 threes and a half.
Exactly.
The game before. Because the other team says, skit.
All 4 of the guys out there around that big man can all shoot from deep. So don't seg off too far or else you might get caught. I agree. Another thing kind of add on to what you guys are saying is it kind of goes with the whole gist of what you both are saying as well. It's just, the beginning of the career of Day Thomas and Jizzle James has been awesome to see. Both have shown flashes to where you can say, okay, this guy's going to have a great career at UC, whether it's obviously only a couple of years for Day, but Jizzle, he's rounding into form early. Just showing those glimpses of what it could be to come down the line. And then another thing is John Newman, man. A lot went into this whole offseason. Yeah, this whole offseason about because the amount of injuries that John has had, and knock on wood, it's hard to truly rely on saying Newman's going to be fully ready to go for a full college basketball season because it's a grueling thing. And John has shown me some hops that I have been like feeling like Justin Berg on the sideline, man. I get a little bit too hyped up. He's had 3 flushes in all of the games that have all been just spectacular. And then of course
3 flushes total, 1 in each game. Let's not give him too much.
3 flushes, 1 in each game. Jesus, semantic Aaron. But anyway.
Well, you were giving him 9.
3, period. 1 in each game, period. There you go. There you go. Yes, they were great, all of them. And then Day is going to have a poster at some point in the season, but let's hope he gets that poster quick so that he can start to not go for the poster each time. Actually, screw it, go for the poster each time. Yes.
No, not each time. There's been a couple of those. Come on.
Yes, I agree.
You're trying to go from the circle on a guy 6 inches taller than him that's just standing at the rim waiting for him. Like
a little better than Kalu taking off from the free throw line at UCF last year, but that's a different story. Royer, let's get your thought 3 games in, and then let's riff with you, man. Let's riff with you.
Yeah. I'm going with like just cohesively solid. It's kind of similar to that balance thing with Chad, but how Chad was talking about, everyone just seems to be kind of doing their role. I think some guys have stepped up too. Like Skillings, obviously. I know we were all excited about him but from straight production comparatively to last year, having him step up and play well is really helping fill those voids of the two ineligible players we have. It just feels like the team, they're just playing well together. Guys are stepping up when others aren't. They're shooting the three well. And I think all the transfers they've had come in, and the guys, they have another year of development. Everyone just feels solid. Everyone seems to be playing their game well and doing it all together.
Yeah, I agree.
It looks
Locked
good so
in.
far. Thrifty Walrus is a good question. They're a good statement. Don't need someone that needs 15 shots, but need someone to be the go-to guy when we need a bucket in a drought. They need a slump buster. Like I don't disagree. Here's the thing: they haven't had a drought yet. They haven't been in a situation really where we're going to find out who that is. Again, I think it is going to be Seamouse. Like I think that is the guy that ultimately is going to be the one in those situations. But so far, guess what's developing? Day-Day's getting a little more confidence. And I don't know that Jizzle yet is going to be the guy that's on the floor in those situations, but would you feel bad about him with the ball in his hands? No. So they've been fortunate through 3 games, and it's coming eventually. But it's hard to speak about because there hasn't been really an extended drought where the other team goes on a 12-2 run. I think Eastern Washington had one little mini run in that second half that I think they got it back down to 5.
Believe me, when Cincinnati stretched it all the way out, it was a missed 3 by the Bearcats, and that's when Eastern Washington went on a nice little run themselves. They did bring it back within 6, I believe.
6, yeah. You obviously would know the details.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Wes even said it in the postgame presser. He said there were a couple of moments where we had the chance to really bust it out to a 20-plus point win, but they just didn't fall, and then all of a sudden came back the other way. And you know what I want to add as well? I mean, UIC doesn't look terrible. They've
got a guy that's at minimum going to be on a 2-way deal. Like he's gonna clock some minutes in the NBA.
Oh, he's good. Toby Okani, it was an easy. He's pretty good. Yeah, they beat Arkansas Little Rock, who is whatever, but they beat them by 15 pretty soundly. They're going to be a squad that in the Missouri Valley that could be better than they were last year. An early push there, but I think this team is really rounded in form. And Chad, I could even see Vic being that guy, kind of like what. If he's not the first 2 games, but if he's on like he was on Sunday, just getting it to him in the post and having him get good position, turn at that little hook is starting to become pretty automatic from what he showed on Sunday.
Guard stop runs.
Well, yeah.
The guy with the ball in their hand. Like Vic, I love the idea of that.
Yeah.
But Vic doesn't have the ball in his hands. So when it comes to final 3 minutes, you got to have a guard or a wing. Now, that guard or wing can make Vic super effective because the defense has to collapse, has to adjust, has to whatever.
Right.
But I don't, unless it's fucking Kareem, where you just throw it up where nobody else can get it. He catches it in sky hooks and nobody has a chance. I just when we're talking about end of clock, late game, like those situations, it's got to be a guard or a wing. Like if you're going into March, like the teams, let's look at a certain team that's playing a team from across town right now. They fizzled out because Edney was like they had to play through him, and a team took him away. Every time they threw it to him, they swiped at the ball. They they knocked it away from him. They made a play, and he became almost completely ineffective. And
Fairleigh Dickinson against Zach Edey is what you're bringing up.
Yeah.
I love it. There we go.
So that's why I just
I
said,
agree.
like, it's got to be one of the guards.
Right. Day, man. Let it be Day. He's been hyping me up. I didn't say that fake John Goble. I was saying more like Kyle Washington, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but even Kyle, you couldn't play through.
No, I'm not like I'm saying. Okay, if we're in a slump and like our guards aren't able to get any penetration, let's try one post touch and see if he can't get little,
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I'm just talking in those high leverage situation, man. It does need to be a guard.
Right. I agree with that too. All right, Royer, let's riff.
What do you guys think is going to stay on pace or at least be more reliable, the 3-pointer or the rebounding trend we've been having?
I think this is a good shooting team. I think I don't think it's a great shooting team where they're going to be flirting with 40% all year, but there are enough guys, and especially if Day and Jizzle can add to that like they have, and John Newman can be, he's not going to shoot 65% all year, but if John Newman can be a 35, 40% guy, I think this is, especially with CJ and CMOS as like your two top of the roster shooters, I think this can be a really good shooting team all year. Without the big guys, you're counting on guys like Dan and Josh Reed and guards and wings to be really good rebounders in the Big 12. I think they can be solid. I don't like until I see it against Big 12 teams. I don't know that I look at this team and say that's going to be a plus rebounding team in the league as much as I look at it and say, I do have some confidence they're going to be able to shoot the three pretty consistently.
I think when you talk about the three, you're also talking about the fact that it's not just one guy shooting the lights out.
Yeah.
It's a collection of about 5 to 6, 7 guys at this point.
Yeah.
That are really shooting the ball well. They're seeing the ball. Now, granted, you're playing at home, so you have a little bit of an advantage of knowing where the dead spots in the court are and everything else. Just comfortability factor as well. But yeah, I think that's going to be far more sustainable than a team that may struggle at times rebounding the ball. But the centers on the outside looking in.
Shooting is the most translatable thing throughout the year if you're able to, consistently get people open and then, just knock down the shots. I think CJ Frederick is a guy. Obviously, Wes said he's going to spend this week trying to figure out how to get CJ more open looks. I mean, he's 7 to 12 to start the year out from deep. John Newman, 5 of 8 from deep early on. So it's more translatable than, I mean, they're the 7th best defensive rebounding team in the country right now. It's only 3 games, 1 weekend, but that's going to be harder to keep that up when, the competition, especially Big 12, amps up. It's going to be a lot more difficult to sustain the rebounding numbers against the some pretty doggone good Big 12 teams if you've been watching early college basketball.
I will also say, though, Brent, if you continue to do a great job making teams shoot poorly from 3,
25%, yeah, they've been on spot with that.
Then you will have a chance to put up a lot of good rebounding numbers. The flip side, the downside to that, you're also giving up a lot of layups where there, it doesn't tend to happen on layups.
You're not going to get a rebound.
Rebounds don't happen on layups. So, yeah.
Guys, that was another weird thing. The layup syndrome in the first half against Eastern Washington. It was just
not going up strong. It wasn't a weird thing. Watch them. They were going up off 1 foot, 1 hand.
Right. Kind of weird.
No strength. There was no gather. It was just like,
like
it was off balance. It wasn't comfortable. Nothing looked like a high level basketball finish.
Right.
Like, what a high level basketball finish looks like. And there are a bunch of guys just kind of getting it off the backboard.
Trying to play weird angles and just
you ain't got
Yeah.
Eric Hicks and Jason Maxiel ain't walking through that door. You don't get to just throw it off the backboard and count on somebody to go get it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Royer, let's riff.
Does Dan Skillings have the opportunity to be our best guard? Or the ability, I should say. Not an opportunity.
Go ahead, Brent.
I think he has the ability. I think he might be 1 year away. And I think Dan is like, he's got all the intangibles that you want. Just athleticism, ability. He's actually been getting some minutes at the 4 this year, just based off of what the rotations are showing. And playing a lot of the 3 too. But I mean, he does a lot of the things you need. I think sometimes the shot selection is a little off. He had a couple of turnover issues against Detroit, but that's all stuff that you just want to work through in the early ongoing, because he's a great rebounder for his position and size. He's a guy that is slowly improving defensively as well. I think he has the ability to. I think it'll just continue to get better each game for Dan, because obviously he's going to be a big part of this team as the season progresses.
I don't think he's played any 4. I think he's checked in for Odie.
Ken Palm's got him at the 4.
I think he's checked in, like he's checked in for Odie, which slides Newman or Seamas down to the 4 and Dan into their spot on the wing.
Yeah.
I have not seen him.
Ken Palm, yeah.
I'll check tomorrow and I'll ask around. Yeah. I have not seen him guard a 4 or run what the 4 is supposed to do offensively, but I could have missed, I'm not that dialed in specifically into the rotations yet. But you also have to account, like, some of that is, okay, Dan checked in for Odie, so Dan's playing the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily. Or Dan checked in, Vic went out, or whatever. Like, that's not
which
exactly
seems like
how it works.
Seems like Dan's the first sub off the bench, or at least he was the past 2 games. Yeah. So, and then for what it's worth,
it's when they go small, they bring Dan in, they take Odie out.
Kind of what they did last year with JD. The second JD came in for Odie.
Right.
Yeah, similar to that. Yeah.
I'm gonna go different direction.
Odie was the 4, or Dan was the JD was the 4.
Right.
So I think it's that like the simple math that if this is the guy you replace, that's the position you play. Right. But I don't think that's been the case yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go different direction.
I'll get answers.
I don't think that he is yet quite the guy that is ready to be the best guard on this team. I think that there's guys on this roster that are just simply better, and I don't think that there's any maturation over the course of this season that's going to take him to where he elevates above some of these guys at certain things. That said, I think he's certainly the highest energy guy outside of maybe Day on this team. But I don't know that right now I would trust Dan more than I would trust Day, more than I would trust at times CJ Frederick or John Newman. Just kind of depends on what you're talking about. Now, if you're talking about all around, I think I'd still put John, especially if John continues to play at the level that he's playing at, barring injury. I don't know. I just don't have Dan quite above some of these other guys on the roster.
I disagree to a point, Aaron, because I think as he, like, again, this is a guy that just doesn't have a lot of minutes under his belt.
Right. I think his ceiling is higher.
Right. But what I'm saying is I think there can be a significant in-season growth to this game that a lot of guys don't have, because a lot of guys have all of that experience. So the improvement is generally what happens in the offseason.
Right.
Dan just doesn't have a lot of game experience. So I'm not saying he's going to instantly, like, somewhere in this season, he's going to go from, a really good player to an all-conference player. But I do think he's got just a little bit more room for growth in season than a normal guy.
It's fair.
Is that's the only like kickback I would have on that is generally you're right. We've talked about it for however many years on these podcasts. Like in season, guys are going to get hot and cold, but guys are generally what they are once the season starts. The work is done.
We saw Vic do
especially in
some of that a
basketball.
little bit. We saw Vic do some of that though over the course of the last couple of years. So I will say it's not impossible. Even here at Cincinnati, we've seen some of that. I just don't know that he's going to get. I'm just not sure he's going to get the run necessary to go from.
Oh, he's going to get the run.
He's getting the run. He's averaging the most shots on the team per game.
Well, that's
the first three. But
what did we talk about coming in 2 weeks ago? Coming into the season, Dan is going to be a guy right now that forces some stuff because he still doesn't know what's good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just hasn't been like outside of 1 year in high school.
Yeah.
In 1 year in AAU, he's never been the guy where it's like, go do it. So he's trying to go do it, but he's not.
During non-con, he should be.
Right. He's not fundamentally sound on some of the things like 2 hands, 2 feet. Like he was much better. Aaron and I talked about this yesterday. He probably played better in the first half yesterday than he did the second. But in the first half, what was hurting him is he was just wildly one-handing the ball at the rim.
Yeah.
Like he was getting off 2 feet and his lower body was set, but his upper body was taking contact and you never knew where the hell the ball was going to go. If you watched him in the second half, he had that second hand on the ball and he was a little bit more reliable in at least trying to predict where the thing was going to come off the damn rim. But these are the things that he is going to have to continue. The thing about Dan that I do love, Aaron, this is why I think he has the ability for that in-season growth. Is he's a guy that loves to be coached. Like I've seen him get screamed at and not roll his eyes and drop his shoulders and get mad and whatever. He just is like, all right, yeah, I got it. All right, cool, gotcha. And then he goes out and he tries to get better at whatever that they're trying to teach him. So as more of this stuff gets put on tape and they're able to say, all right, look, man, like the growth, Aaron, is going to come on film in between games for him. Because now he's going to make mistakes that they're going to be able to go back and say, look, here's where if you would have just jump stopped, gathered yourself, and gone up strong, you get that basket.
Yeah.
So do I think he's going to get there this year as far as the best guy? Probably not. But I do think there is a chance for substantial growth to where by the end of the season, we're going, man, remember that Eastern Washington game where he was just flinging shit at the rim?
First half of the UIC game, the Detroit game.
Yeah, where he was just black.
I'd love it if by the end of the season we're actually having the argument though, where there's points to be made that he is the best guard. I just don't know that we're inarguably, indefensibly going to have that argument where there is nobody better.
I don't disagree with that. The only thing I disagreed with was the in-season growth part, because I just think he's a guy that is in position for that more than most guys are. Because most guys generally, it's the work done in the offseason that gets you there. And Dan did a ton of work in the offseason, but for him, I think it's you need to go out and make the mistakes.
Yeah.
Because he's never made the mistakes before because he hasn't played enough yet. I agree largely with what you're saying. It was just that one thing that I do think that's a little bit different. The equation is different from Dan because it's not a kid that played organized basketball his whole life. He was just, could you imagine just being at a playground, 8th, 9th grade with Dan Skillings, who has no clue what he's doing. It's never been coached, but he's just like this long and this tall and
Duncan.
Who the fuck is this guy?
It's like, go play for the team. Why are you out here?
Is he on the basketball team? No, it's not.
But also, Chad, kind of like what you're saying. He's got that alpha, confidence to him, where it's like,
sure,
You know,
he has. If you're looking for the irrational confidence gene,
right. Oh,
Dan
yeah.
Skillings has it.
Which is what you want. Like,
Yeah,
someone who can take that learning tools
sure.
and then not like kind of feel discouraged and then kind of go
Sure.
into a sophomore slump. You want him to take those and be like, all right, well, I'm still athletic. I'm still able to get
Yeah,
to the rim. I'm going to continue getting to the
better.
rim.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's not going to sulk. That's not who Dan is.
No, not at all. Not at all. Arrow's
Look,
pointing up.
You guys know me. There's nothing I love more than irrational confidence.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've had it my whole life.
Yes.
Doesn't make any sense. Just doesn't go away.
Bring
Warriors
in the
got it.
10s. Bring in the 10s. We want them. We want the 10s.
Warriors got it. Warriors got irrational confidence.
You think?
This fucking clown is an engineer at General Electric.
He's got. Oh, yeah.
I forget that.
All right. You got another one for us, Griffin?
Those are the two good ones. I mean, I could just rattle.
You got
off some
bad
other
ones. We'll answer those too.
I mean, the last, I was just kind of reaching for straws sometimes because those are the two I thought had the best dialogue ability, but I don't know if you guys want more. Okay, how about this?
Give us one more.
How many? Okay. How many wins? How many more wins will we have at the end of the year if both of the ineligible guys get to play? Starting in conference, because let's just say we get them both back the start of conference play for some reason.
You're a betting guy, Brent.
Are they
Where
3 wins,
over
4
under?
wins, 5 wins, impact? What is it, like out of how many games would that be? Like 18?
Well, what does Ken Palm have? What does Ken Palm have us at?
There's 18 conference games. Ken Palm's predicting 19-12 regular season, 7-11 in conference. I mean, the Big 12 is a freaking beast, man. Mm-hmm. But I mean, UCF is whatever. West Virginia doesn't look very good. Oklahoma State doesn't look very good. I think if you get Aziz and
BYU's better than expected.
Oh, BYU's a lot better than expected for sure. But if you get both of them back, you know, some of these predicted losses to those teams that are kind of in the bottom half, I think instantly go to wins. I think you see a couple of tough, you know, home games turn into wins, like a Kansas State, you know, like a.
They've had it rough. Like they're dealing with a bunch of injuries right now.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance though the Kansas State you're seeing right now is a completely different team than you're going to play in January and February.
So would you say 3.5, 4.5 on top of where you're at right now to set the over under?
Set the over under at 2.5. I'll take over 2.5.
And if I set it at 3.5,
man, that's
if that's where it's hard, then that's where it should be set.
Yeah, probably.
Silly.
I think
So Brendan's overly optimistic, which means it needs to be set at 1.5.
Well, sure, that's fair. I mean, I just think you saw one of the biggest bugaboos in the early handful of games is the ability for teams to have success at the rim offensively. And
yeah, and of course some of that you have to add. Some of that is that they are overly aggressive running teams off the line. And there are going to be some opportunities at the rim when you are making sure teams aren't going, 11 for 24 from 3.
Correct. Yes. And they are thin in the front court. And that has to be an innate thing.
Factored in. Yeah.
Where
that's, I think, maybe the biggest impact is you can be a lot more aggressive in everything you do. If you have 2 or 3 centers instead of 1.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, look, I think Odie can play some center. 10, 12 minutes a night, 13 minutes a night. Mm-hmm. You don't want to have Odie be in your 25-minute a night center in the best basketball conference in America. And that's no knock on Odie. He's just not a 25, 30-minute a night center.
Yeah, right. I mean, God forbid Vic goes for 2 blocks in the opening 3 minutes and gets called for a foul on both. Then
Right.
are you going to tell Odie to play 17 first half minutes? It's just,
right. Are you playing CMOS at the 5?
Sage, go out there, man. Throw your body around.
You'll have to at that point.
Yeah. Yes. So that would affect a lot of games because there is going to be those games where you need to do something because whether it be a little, rolled ankle or something that takes one of them out for a little bit. So, yeah, I think 2.5 over 2.5.
Even if it's not an extended period of time, it could be a half or a game.
Right. Exactly.
Vic Odie rolls an ankle and it's not bad, but you're not going to put him out there for the rest of the game. Then what do you do from there?
And Vic's dog tired, and it's
right.
Yeah, I agree.
You're not going to play him 40 minutes. That's not Vic. He's not a 40-minute, pro center.
Yeah, and also when CMOS kind of breaks down the defense a little bit and kind of gets into the lane where he does his little, hesitation and whatnot.
His little European thing.
Yeah, right. If you've got a big who can finish oops easily,
right,
that just adds another dimension to the entire offense as well. So, yeah, it's just
fake John Goble, 10-8 if they get both guys. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
7-8 if they don't.
11-7 would be fun, though.
Sure. I mean, you'd be a seed. You'd be a seed at 11-7.
Be a nice little 5 seed out there, baby.
Yeah, you'd be wearing a white jersey in the first game.
Get that 5-12 matchup. Yeah, Royer. Oh yeah,
a sight to see.
Hey,
haven't seen that since the what game.
No, the game. Well, were they a higher seed than Iowa?
Yeah,
weren't they?
7-10.
Oh,
remember? They should have been freaking 4. I mean, a 5 or a 6 seed, but they put them at a 7 because they said, okay, you're a 7 seed, but you get to play in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, against CJ Frederick and a really good Iowa team,
and the hardest full court press defense you've ever faced. That was just insane. Anyway, let's wrap up the basketball talk real quick with just thoughts on the whole happenings. We got to just touch on it a little bit. Some really great quotes from Justin Williams, who I've never heard of this Justin Williams guy, but he did a pretty good article on this Aziz.
He's the guy seemed like a pretty good writer. I'd like to meet him sometime.
Me too. He seemed like he knows what he was talking about a little bit. But yeah, it kind of just broke down everything. Obviously, last Friday, a little Friday news dump during the day, and then it really came out strong there in the post game press conference as Wes was able to use this platform as well.
I would have invited him on the nightcap that night post game, but there's no way he was awake when we went live. So,
he's probably at some Big 12 location, that Big 12 game of the week location or something like that. I think covers the whole conference these days or whatnot.
Rising star, that guy. I don't even know if he'd answer my call.
And John Rothstein, I'm going to take a little quote from him. Justin Williams, buy stock now. If you haven't bought stock already, you're behind.
I sold my Justin Williams stock.
Well, you sold pretty high. Some of the main things coming from it, obviously, are talking about how he's hired the legal representatives that Tez Walker used, who's Chad, you've kind of alluded to and mentioned this, I guess, in one of the previous ones, but kind of went in depth about that. A couple good quotes from Yost as well, the AG in Ohio. My favorite one, I'm going to just read it, was the NCAA does seem to be kind of arbitrary in applying their criteria for the waiver, but that kind of doesn't matter in terms of the antitrust question. And the NCAA knows they have a problem because they are down in the halls of Congress trying to get a law passed to give them an exemption to antitrust law. They wouldn't be doing that if they thought they were clean on this, and they are not clean. Candidly, they're holding a gallon of gas in their lap and playing with matches, which I think is just an awesome quote, first off. And then there's more about it, about litigation and kind of burning down the NCAA and their entire operation and whatnot. It's going to get pretty nasty. But
when he said something along the lines of "They want to fight, we know how to fight," I like that. I like that quote.
Oh yeah, for sure. And all the representation is also saying that they have reviewed the case and they feel like it's a slam dunk win for what they have as far as what they have for Aziz, which is it's lawyer talk, but they're sounding a little bit more confident than just having it be typical lawyer talk. I guess kind of just thoughts on the whole situation from Friday to now. I think Wes mentioned that today they were going to petition to the NCAA to overrule it again. I don't know. Obviously, nothing's come out on social media about that step, but seems like they're ready to go to war when it comes to Aziz and do what's right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens or what leaks out over this week, if anything. They're clearly not done, so there's got to be something coming.
Mm-hmm. Is the Jamil thing gonna be similar to the Aziz reveal? I don't know. Obviously, it just is completely random these days. Obviously, you see a different player.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to make a big deal about it when they get a decision. They just don't have a decision on his appeal yet. So we'll see.
The whole thing is a mess. Aaron, your thoughts on the situation?
The NCAA is once again, just dug their feet in so hard that they refuse to give. And in this instance, it seems like right now they're giving to everybody but these two. As you see, just there hasn't been any in a couple days, but you've seen some situations where they've allowed other guys. The defense of why Cincinnati, it doesn't make sense why he would go from Utah Valley to Cincinnati. Quite frankly, that's none of your goddamn business. I mean, why does anyone go to any school they go to? Again, not your concern. You say you stand up for the student athlete, stand up for the student athlete. Like, so I don't know. Ryan, you were actually somebody, an actual student athlete where you were represented by the NCAA. I mean, how do you feel in all of this as this is going on, where a guy picks a school, and granted, now you have NIL, and now these guys have been through where you didn't have 2-time waivers. You used to not be able to go through any of this. I think they've all been in school long enough to where you didn't have any of this. And they opened the floodgates to where Wes alluded to, letting the toothpaste out of the tube to where anybody could go do anything. Now you're trying to get a hold on things again. And I don't know what to make heads or tails of any of this, but it just seems like the NCAA is not doing anything to stand up for the student athletes, despite them saying they stand up for student athletes.
Yeah, because now you've created this thing where some people are getting it and some people aren't. So it should be kind of like how everyone got a 6th year that was impacted by COVID. You probably shouldn't be denying waivers for anyone that's grandfathered into this situation. Maybe if you want to say, all right, this is getting out of control, it's going to have to be all people coming in past 2023. Like, we have, like, that would be some sort of thing, but you can't have a situation where you're letting like 70% of guys do it across the country, and then there's 30% of guys that are getting railroaded by this. So you have to have like an all or nothing stance, because what you're doing is you're taking 2 guys and you're kind of trying to say, oh, you guys are lying. We know you're lying, but we know all the 70% else of everyone, they're definitely telling the truth. And
except that
you muted yourself again.
Except Aziz, if you look at his comments, has multiple medical health professionals saying he has mental health issues.
Well, it also goes. He also has the fact that his coach left and went to another school.
No, but that doesn't count, Aaron. They've taken that out. That is not.
But my point is that can be another.
Matter.
Okay, but that can be another reason why you would suffer mental health.
But the NCAA has dubbed that not. That doesn't matter. That's not. But let's take that. What I'm saying is set that aside. Set that aside. He has multiple mental health professionals saying that he suffered mental health issues while at Utah Valley. The NCAA does not get to arbitrarily say, bullshit.
You can't
do that. They don't get to do that. That's not the reason. The only reason there's a mental health waiver available, they didn't want it. The only reason that it's available is because their lawyers told them, if you don't make this an option, you're going to get sued to hell and back. And now you have a guy that has medical documentation that there is mental health at play here, mental well-being at play, and the NCAA is going, I don't think you have enough mental health. Like, I don't think your mental health is bad enough. Get the fuck out of here.
But if you say you stand up,
guy in the spot and say, that'll do good for him.
If you say you stand up for the student athletes, though, and you don't allow them,
let's throw that out. It doesn't matter. They don't give a shit about.
That's my point. That's my point.
But
they threw one bone with NIL,
about it isn't going to do us any good.
They think that the bone they throw with NIL is just going to they hope it just saves their ass.
Well, I mean, the weird thing is they say that the association is proud to have advanced several mental health initiatives and benefits, including new bylaws that require all D1 schools to provide mental health services to all student athletes.
It's all shit to cover their ass.
Yeah,
I just can't believe that they actually are saying that. And then
what are they?
They have done those things, Brent.
Right.
As only as
why do you not believe that
preventative measure to arbitrarily rule on mental health?
Right, exactly. I just think, what?
They're set up to stand up for the student athlete, and they don't do that either. So why are you not believing that
they're set up for that? They're set up. Who runs the NCAA? The schools. There's no student athlete representation at the NCAA.
There's no sports without student athletes, Chad.
Do you think the presidents and ADs give a shit about that? By and large, no. They want to protect the golden goose.
This is the closest thing that you have to representation for the student athletes.
They don't care.
Since you don't have a union.
They don't care. You're arguing for things that don't exist is my again, that's I know the point you're trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is they don't care. They have never cared. They never will care. All they care about is protecting the golden goose and
we all know
maintaining control and allowing the money to continue to flow. That's all they care about. Mm-hmm. And all the other stuff, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, one of the things that they added in, now if you transfer, if you're a first-time transfer, the school that you transfer to has to honor your scholarship for 4 years. The only reason they put that in place is to be able to say, you're locked in to the second school that you went to. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's why we have put these measures in place to make sure you don't transfer.
Yeah. And then that's why they say when these cases go to court and whatnot, and it's in front of a real judge, they look at it and they're like, well, this is just stupid. And they the whole thing is just, you got to pony up the lawyer. And then when it gets to the case, then you're able to kind of step up. And then that's when the NCAA says, okay, we'd rather not have to deal with this.
Fake John Gobel's exactly right. It'd have been like watching DeJulius when he had his struggles. If he had decided to transfer and then being told he didn't suffer enough to warrant a waiver. They should not be in a position on a waiver board and an appeal board without one mental health specialist involved in the process.
Right.
They should not be in a position to say whose mental health is that's like the kid
wouldn't matter.
Jalen Tyson that went to Cal.
Yeah.
That left Texas Tech. They denied his waiver initially because they said he waited too long.
It wouldn't matter even if you had a mental health specialist, you wouldn't have dealt with the student athlete personally, so you wouldn't know.
You'd at least have somebody that understands mental health treatment, somebody that understands what it's like, how it works, and what it's all about. Now it's just a bunch of like jocks or 60-year-old guys that were athletes in the 1960s that are determining what mental health looks like in 2023.
Yeah. The thing is as well, the whole why Cincinnati thing is it should actually benefit Aziz in this case. It's not like he's transferring to Miami to play for Jim Larinaga. He's going to a location.
Remember, they didn't include it this time, which must have meant that there was some kind of legal ramification. But in the initial, like when transfers weren't allowed, and you had to get a waiver for a first-time transfer, they set a mileage. The only way, if your grandma was on her deathbed, the only way you could transfer home to take care of your grandma was if it was within 100 miles.
Right.
Anything outside of 100 miles, if you were 112 miles away from your grandma, you weren't close enough in their eyes to take care of or to be there for your family while your grandma was dying. So I'm guessing they had to take those restrictions out,
probably
because it was deemed not legal or antitrust or ridiculous. That's not a word that we can use in this because it's all fucking ridiculous, Aaron.
I'm just saying it should have been deemed ridiculous.
Right. But what they're saying with Aziz, with half of his support system in Akron, half of his support system in West Virginia, why Cincinnati? Well, you know what else comes into play? What if those other people didn't recruit him?
Yeah.
What if those places weren't an option?
Is he supposed to go back to Akron and be the
yes, I think
best
that's
player
what
on a bad team?
That's what their belief is, that okay, if you needed to go back to Akron to be around those people, then you should have to literally go back to Akron.
Right. I forget who it was. Someone was granted a 2-time waiver because he went home, back to his original school.
If you've ever been to Akron, Akron's enough to give you mental health issues anyway.
Right.
LeBron ain't there to save you.
Why do you think he got out?
Right.
Twice.
Right. No, I agree. And the whole thing is this is hopefully it gets a move on because the season started, but the season goes pretty fast. Before you know it, it's going to become games that matter, and you need at least some sort of concrete decision to be able for Wes and staff to step back and say, this is what we got, guys. Let's figure it out. Or, hey, we're adding
the cavalry's coming
into the mix. Yeah. It's like, you got to get it going, because if it is a cloud, and yes, obviously it's a little bit more prevalent this past week where, it took over 2 post-game pressers and Wes was making statements. But if it's something that just bleeds on, it's going to be an innate thing that just has an effect that no one really knows it truly has on the team. So I hope it's just quick. I hope it's actually the right decision. But the lawyers they're confident, man. They're like, we have the case we need. And we think that what the NCAA is doing is most likely illegal. So get a move on, lock it down.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to talk about this for a few more weeks, and
can't wait.
Who knows? But let's go ahead and timestamp and let's do this mailbag.
And Aaron, I'm not coming at you for it's a common stance that you have, that a lot of people have. I've just been around this shit long enough to know it doesn't do any good to talk about shit that should matter, but doesn't. It should matter, the things that you're bringing up. They just don't, because the organization doesn't give a shit about the well-being of the student athletes. So I'm not going to act like I'm surprised that they
was
don't
my
give a
point.
shit about the student athletes.
Right,
Because we know, we are well aware, there are decades of evidence that they see them as less than. That they
Numbers.
see them as, well, they see them as you're lucky to be here. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be here.
So they're like UCF fans.
That might be the best point you've ever made.
You're welcome.
Wow. Clip
The
it.
NCAA treats college sports like UCF fans treat college football. They invented the whole damn thing, and we all should just be lucky to be in their presence.
Clip it and pin it.
We paved the way for you.
Yeah. That might be the best point you've ever made, sir. Very proud of you. Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next-day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases. Aaron, can you get that bomber jacket picture up? Ryan, have you seen the bomber jacket yet?
Yes, I have. It looks pretty dope.
How would you feel? Like, would you rock that over your letter jacket? I would rock that over a letter jacket like that.
I need to, let me see. Hold on. Let's do a comparison. I got it right.
This is what I like. This is the kind of thing that I like.
Jacket.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that I like. Aaron's working on getting the picture of the bomber jacket up, and Ryan's going with the letter. I mean, that C-Paw is massive, bro. It's the size of your whole head.
You can't miss
and you got a
thing,
giant head. Like, you got a moon rock head.
You think?
Yeah,
That's
I know.
I'm
I'm speaking. Come on. What size you wear? What are you, 7 3/4?
Like, I don't even know what my fitteds are.
Look at Royer jacked up.
I could have, like, I was on the edge of like a medium and a large helmet in football.
Really?
I always went with a large. Yeah, I had to get
Maybe it's the hair. Maybe it's the hair that I think you have.
The hair is
head.
longer now. All right, I got to do the comparison.
There you go. It's got the angry Bearcat. Like, I want the angry Bearcat on everything. The angry dunking Bearcat. I want him on everything. Show the back, Aaron, with the Cincinnati.
I could see Travis Kelce rocking that.
Oh, that
With
looks
Taylor
like
Swift
something
on his arm.
That's the best they give me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic font. It's a classic design.
There we are.
Go to homefieldapparel.com. At checkout, enter the code BCJ23. Get yourself 15% on an item like this. 15% is a pretty significant number. So get yourself the bomber jacket. I've had multiple BCJ members hit me up and say that theirs has already arrived, and they were rocking it this past weekend for the games. So homefieldapparel.com, code BCJ23, and get yourself the fresh new. Look, you can't get a Letterman jacket. You listening right now, you can't. Ryan Royer can. That's why he has one. You can't. What you can get is this awesome bomber jacket to wear to rep the Bearcats in those cold
I wonder if you can get
months.
one of those varsity jackets in like the player's trunk or something like that.
I don't know that you
I
can.
haven't seen a trunk for our school. My trunk was just all of my friends. You wouldn't believe the
player's
amount of
trunk,
clothes I
like,
gave away.
The stuff that players
you know what I'm
sell.
talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. Do we
Kane
have
Broom's
are we
a lot of
affiliated?
A lot of Kane Broom stuff
mean,
was in there. Jaron had stuff in there.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, let's get through this mailbag.
Not a lot, so we should be good today. We never make these things go long.
Yeah, never. First 17 minutes was long. In honor of the 2:30 kickoff, if you could choose the ideal kickoff time, what would it be? Can also have a different answer if you want to do one for September and one for November.
I don't know that I remember at 2:30, so I'm going to give 2:30 a healthy shot. this
Yeah, they
week.
do.
Yeah, but 3:30 for me. You don't have to get up at the ass crack of dawn. I don't have to put my dogs immediately. Wake up, take the dogs out, feed them, put them straight in the crate, and then they're there for 6-7 hours or whatever. And then at night, I don't, I'm a night owl. I would prefer not to be awake at 3:30 in the morning.
Right.
As somebody that generally, I couldn't tell you the last time I was asleep before midnight. I still would like to be in bed before 3. So 3:30 for me is ideal. I think there could be something to 2:30, but I get why 2:30 is not a thing because you start some of the games at noon, and the game that starts at 2:30 is going to be happening while those games are in the fourth quarter. But I think I'll be pretty happy with 2:30 come Saturday night.
If you're only doing one game though at that 2:30 time, as for an ESPN then fine, because you can move some of those games. Not every game is going to be interesting at the end.
Yeah.
So,
and also the 2:30 game is going to be interesting while the other games, the 3:30 games, are at halftime or early third quarter, where the 2:30 game is going to be coming down to the wire.
I do like this. The staggering is nice. Yeah.
I agree.
So 3:30 preferably. Ryan, as a player, what did you like? Noon?
3:30. I like 3:30 as a fan and player.
Nip at night
noon,
though.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if you're going based off of full about being able to take advantage of the full day, you don't have to wake up super early and you're not groggy. You got some time to wake up as a player, and then you will get part of the night game in the fourth quarter when you get towards the back end of the season. And then after you get the dub, you got plenty of time to go celebrate with your boys and have a good time. And it's the same thing with being a fan. You can wake up, you don't have to get to a tailgate at 8 a.m. You can take your time, get over there, and then by the time the game ends,
tailgate at 11 or 12. Still have plenty of time. It's lunch. How about that?
Yeah.
It's lunch.
Lunch.
You get to have a good lunch spread.
Screw the 12 noon kickoff, man.
I'm out on noon. I do like that you're done generally early, but we're still contenting at that point in time. It doesn't change a lot for us. It means we get done at 9 instead of 3, but noon sucks. I'm out on noon.
Yeah. Go ahead, Aaron.
All right. I think we're all in agreement.
Okay.
I think we're good. How would you feel if the Bearcats won the last 2 games to finish 5-7 and were offered a bowl slot, as has been happening in the last 6 to 8 years on a limited basis in bigger conferences?
I would feel great.
Be good.
Great. They get some extra practices. They get a chance to get even more development for the younger guys, which is necessary. I'd still feel kind of icky about it. Win 6 games. You don't.
Yeah. Hey, my bet would hit. So
that's
true.
I don't know if this.
God bless.
Yeah. I love it.
I just don't know if this is even going to be worth the conversation, as I don't know if they're going to win the last 2 games. But
Kansas without Bean, without Daniel, that's a different Kansas team. And West Virginia is kind of Jekyll and Hyde. They're still not good. They're better than everybody thought they would be, but they're still not good.
Don't get too far ahead of your skis there, Chad. Come on.
I'm not saying they can be West Virginia. I'm saying West Virginia is not I think here's the thing with West Virginia. I'll say as we go into the Wednesday show that we will talk about this extensively.
Mm-hmm.
There is a bit of an overreaction because they were supposed to be so bad that they fired their coach a month into the season. That's what everybody believed.
Right.
So there is this overreaction that they haven't been bad, so they must be good.
But they're still bad.
They're still not good. I'm not going to say they're bad.
Right.
But they're not good. So am I going to predict Cincinnati to win at West Virginia? No. Am I going to say it's out of the realm of possibility? No, because that's a West Virginia team that's okay at best.
Yeah.
Okay at best.
6.5 point spread. They just lost by 40 at Oklahoma.
Yeah. Now, whether or not they bounce back, like they come out swinging, or they're looking at it kind of deflated.
Right.
We'll find out. Kathy, I know this is going to be hard for you to understand, but 136 is significantly less than 160. I got you, Kathy. I got you.
Okay. How good of a deal is it to get Northwestern State to come to Nippert for just $425,000?
I have no idea.
Reported today.
Pretty good. If you can get a buy game for under $1 million, pretty good in today's market.
Yeah.
Does nothing for me either way.
Yeah, I
think the answer is pretty good. Next question.
Pretty good.
That's the football portion of the mailbag. After the win, everyone's a little hungover, apparently. Moving on to the basketball portion of the mailbag. What will Wes have the guys focusing on this week leading up to NKU? Anything specific that the guys not in the rotation need to start doing to get more minutes? Thinking we need the depth when Big 12 rolls around. I think it's safe to say he won't be doing anything with an earn.
Well, how much more depth do you want? They have nine guys that are heavily in the rotation. I don't know how much more depth is necessary, like at this point. Now, if there's an injury, then yeah, maybe you need to develop those guys more. But I don't know that you're doing it 4 minutes at a time in non-conference bye games.
Mm-hmm.
So Wes will have them focusing on trying to beat NKU. You know what they get to spend a whole week on, Brent?
Getting open
the
looks for
matchup
TJ
zone.
Frederick.
The matchup zone that they could not crack in the second half last year.
You don't want to see the 12-minute Sage game against NKU?
If he can shoot, maybe against that matchup zone, I don't mind it.
But, Sage's one look in that Detroit game didn't look too bad.
No, he can. He's got some offensive skill. It's strength and physicality that are holding him back. It's not skill.
No.
He will have them focusing on winning the NKU game. And the guys not in the rotation need to. Rayvon needs. Do you want to make this as simple as we can make it? Rayvon needs to be better than Josh Reed. That's what he needs to do to crack the rotation. Like Josh right now is the last wing in the rotation. It's like the old adage about like if there's a bear chasing the four of us, I don't have to be faster than the bear. I just have to be faster than Brent. Because the bear is going to catch the last guy. Rayvon needs to catch Josh Reed. So
that means he's got me faster than you, Brent.
Who, the bear?
No, Chad's got me faster than you. That's what that means.
Yeah, you probably are, man. I'm pretty slow.
It's those dress shoes you're always wearing, brother.
Hey, man, I'm a slow mover. I like
you don't have to be faster than the bear. You just got to be faster than the last guy.
Amen.
So that's what Ray needs to do. He needs to play well enough to pass Josh. And guess what? Josh is working his ass off for that not to happen. And Ray's working his ass off for it to happen.
I feel like even as he was saying that, though, Brent, he was looking back and forth from box to box, sizing us up.
You know what? I'll just try and become friends with the bear.
That's exactly. Brent would be like, "Hey, buddy! Hey, my guy!
Yeah,
My guy!"
The bear whisperer.
100%. What happened to Brent? Well, he got his head eaten off.
Brent, the bear ate him, but they dapped up. Like, they dapped up before.
Looked like love before it happened.
And by dap, I mean he swiped his whole face off.
Brent was like, "Hey," and the bear was like, "Whoa."
Oh,
Which will happen first, Christmas on December 25th, or Aziz and or Jamil are eligible to play? And if you say I don't know, Chad, I'm going to heckle you at Sunday's game. I know you don't know, but I want a hot take, damn it.
I don't know. Guys, take it away. You guys aren't touching it?
Christmas comes
Christmas
first.
happens first.
Yeah.
I think we know before Christmas. I do. I think one way or another we know what the final, like, you know, they're going to be here for the rest of the season or they're not by Christmas. I would hope. Jesus, how could it go past Christmas? Come on, what are we doing?
that'd be, man. If they were both back for that game against Evansville, arguably the worst team on the entire
Doesn't say we know or not. It just says do they play or are they eligible to play or not?
I don't know. Well, I think we need you have to have a decision to know whether they're eligible to play.
There's been plenty of decisions already. They've just all been against our favorite.
I mean, do I think there's a temporary restraining order before Christmas? Absolutely.
Well, didn't Penny have an injunction on a player where he got to play? Yeah, and then all of those wins were negated because James Wiseman was ineligible.
Well, James Wiseman didn't hold through on the fight. He just eventually said, "Fuck this, man! I'm going to get paid. Like, fuck this ain't fucking.
I'm a top 3 NBA pick.
Right?
I'm out of here.
I'm out of here." So that was a little bit of a different scenario.
Anyway, what you got, Brent?
Well, there's only one guarantee, and that is the guarantee that Christmas is coming on December 25th. So,
fair enough.
Jingle bells.
For each of you, what's been your favorite thing about this team so far? Ryan, you've watched some hoops. What's your favorite thing so far?
I think it's just the way the guys are playing together. How I kind of hit on earlier. They just feel like a team, and there's still a bunch of guys on there that are transfers and young guys that are coming into their own, but everything's seeming to mesh really well. And I'm just excited. They got a ton of potential, and probably John Newman slamming the fuck out of the ball. That's been some crazy dunks. I like that. Haven't seen that in a while.
Agreed.
That type of authority.
Brent, what you got?
Oh man. I mean, we kind of already touched on this, but I'd say all of the new faces being either as good as advertised or potentially better would be my answer. I think Day-Day, CMOS, CJ, all of them have shown what we were expecting to see, and then at different times they've each shown a little bit more. So that
point guard.
Oh yeah.
Do you know how dangerous it is to go into a season with two guys that have never dribbled a basketball in a college Division I basketball game, and neither of them being like Isaiah Collier, who has been exactly what the scouting report that they had on him was. No, I'm just saying they nailed the scouting report on Isaiah Collier.
Yeah.
NBA.
They knew they needed that, and they still were able to find it even without getting Isaiah Collier. Like I have not watched, and there are going to be games. There are going to be games where we're like, man, point guard just didn't have it tonight. And that's okay, because that's how this all works. But I watch these two dudes and I say, for at least the next 2 years and potentially the next 4, this program is okay at point guard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm comfortable saying that through 3 games, watching their competitive nature, watching their aggressiveness, watching how they defend, watching how every second that they're on the floor, I never feel like those guys are coasting. I feel like they are foot on the gas pedal accelerator all the way down at all times. And that's exactly what you need at point guard, I think, in this conference. So for me, that's my favorite thing. And Wes said it yesterday. We got it right. We got point guard right. And if they didn't, we would be having some bad conversations right now. If these first 3 games, they were averaging a combined 11 points, 5 turnovers, shooting, 16% from 3. Like, we would all be here like, uh-oh. And guess what? All 3 of these games, well, maybe not Detroit Mercy, but the other 2 games would have looked a lot different if the point guards weren't really good. And what we've seen so far, Jizzle has made significant strides. Game 1, 2, 3. And I think that'll continue at least through November and December. So, yeah.
For me, it's been the aesthetics. And by that, I mean they have the Jordan brand back. They have the blocks back on the jerseys. They have the dunks back. They've been moving the ball, and it's not been ISO ball. It's been just run and gun, and I am here for all of the aesthetics thus far on this young season.
It's hard to run flow if your team doesn't pass the ball.
They've been passing the ball well.
The whole point of flow is that everybody is constantly moving, and you are moving the defense with you along the way. And that's hard to do when you pass the ball and the ball stops for 14 seconds while one guy goes through his legs and behind his back and 2 steps forward and 2 steps back and opposites attract or something like a
waiting for the play to develop that never develops, and now the ball is being shot with 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
You again ruined my 1980s pop culture reference.
I trampled your bet.
Is Day-Day going to try to dunk on somebody every game? I hope so. Just one. I just want one time every game where Day-Day comes down the lane like this.
All right.
Wes confirmed if he had a trampoline, he would do that.
Yep.
It's not slam ball. Have we ever had a pair of faster point guards? Maybe Devin Downey. Really excited about our point guards.
A pair? I don't think so. One,
Devin Downey and Jahad Muhammad and Chad Moore. Chad Moore ain't
really, we never got really to see Chad because his back was
anybody. Yeah.
Kenny Satterfield was New York fast, like had that extra gear. I don't know that there's ever been 2. Like, that's what something I've talked about is generally when you have one guy like that, you have to dial back when the other guy goes in.
Right.
And now defenses don't get a break because for 40 minutes, you're going to get one of those 2 guys coming downhill at you.
What about Dave and Mikey?
No, Dave wasn't fast.
He wasn't?
No.
I know he played a lot of ISO ball.
Dave was skilled. Dave was like in and out, like get the defender off balance, step back. Dave's game was always kind of backwards more than it was forwards. He would go forwards once he got you off balance backwards, and then he would go back around you. But he was never just like ripping through and like Dave could never do the spin move that Jizzle did the other night.
Was Mikey here when Johnson was here?
Kevin?
No, I'm sorry. Maybe it's not Johnson. What was the kid who?
The
Logan
for St. Mary's. Logan, yeah. No, he wasn't here with Logan. Logan was different. There was some speed to Logan to Logan Johnson's game, but he wasn't end to end like.
He was more just athletic.
He was a freak athlete,
bouncy, and yeah.
All right, I'm done playing guessing games with that.
I just don't know that there's ever been 2 at the same time. Is where I'll agree.
If we can start Plays of the season contest top 10. I would nominate Day-Day's almost end of the half dunk, Jizzle electric spin move for a layup, and Newman's angry dunk so far.
Those are good ones.
I would have Day-Day's Day-Day putting a guy on skates to end the half on that three, and just the step back after the guy's on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yeah.
I'm going angry dunk from Newman.
Oh yeah.
Which one?
All
think the
three
first
in
one.
3 games.
I think the first one, just because it kind
I
of
think
just
the
like,
first one, too.
there he
Set a
is.
tone. Set a
There
tone.
he is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that first one too, because you're like, oh, there's not enough time to shot clock. And then he was like, all right, watch this. And boom.
Yeah.
Maybe the Vic 3 where he put his both hands up real fast.
I don't know if there's been any defensive highlights where like a Kenyon Martin block all the way down the court or anything like that yet.
Yeah.
Odie had a pretty good weak side block.
He did.
Odie
And it
had
went to, it went into the second row or something, I think.
Yeah.
And then he had one this past game that led to the Newman dunk.
Yeah.
Odie gonna get one that makes the highlight reel though. I'm with you there.
The Vic 3 has to go up there. The Newman, I think the Newman one yesterday, getting a body,
Yeah.
has to go up there. But yeah, I mean, if Day-Day makes that dunk, we're talking about that. That dunk is on highlight reels for a long.
Like
Every
Lance
basketball
Stevenson dunk against DePaul.
Every basketball video for a while.
I watched that every.
I will say, fake John Goble, you make a good, like the Newman one. We've been wondering all off season, like, is John healthy?
Why John was starting? That's what we were wondering.
Well, that's what you were wondering.
You knew, but that's none of us have been in practice.
I know. Well, but John didn't look like that leading up. Like I've asked him about that. He did not look like. I asked him about that after the Detroit Mercy game. That's not who John had been over the past 6 weeks, like leading up to the season. So to see that in that opening game at the end of the shot clock, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
All right. So after 3 games of observing the pieces Wes has to work with, assuming only one waiver becomes eligible, whose skill set gives the Bearcats the highest ceiling, Jamil or Aziz, and why?
Aziz, because he's an alien.
He is an alien.
That's all I got.
All right, Brent, anything to add to that?
I would also say, like, Vic gives you some back to the basket scoring. Like that's Jamil also brings that, and it's better to have 2 of those than 1. But Aziz's ability to catch a lob, to block shots, to run the floor, to impact the game, it's different than anything they have. So I'll take the guy that's not like anything else that's on the roster.
Yeah. Exactly what I was going to say.
All right.
Sorry, Brent. My bad, Brent.
That's the basketball portion of the mailbag. The last portion of the mailbag, of course, is skins. Rapid fire. Better line dance, the cha-cha slide or the boot scoot and boogie? I am never here for
Cha-cha
country.
slide.
I'm going to go cha-cha slide.
Yeah. To the left. To the left.
You never gone line dancing, Aaron?
No.
Oh, he
No.
has. He just doesn't like it.
Little boot scoot and boogie.
No.
Here we go, dosey do.
Cha-cha slide.
I'll even put the electric slide over the boot scoot and boogie.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's better.
Cotton Eye Joe might be better than the boot scoot.
Where'd you come from? Where'd you go?
Has anyone had a more productive day than Dolly Parton writing Jolene and I Will Always Love You on the same day?
I think Travis Kelce had a pretty good Saturday.
Chad and I did an 18-hour podcast where we had anyone who's anyone with UC Athletics on.
We did do that. Yeah, that happened. We need another one of those this winter.
No.
Yes.
We don't.
Well, if you're too much of a softie to do all 12 hours, I'll find other people to.
12 is fine. Another 18 hour is not.
It was 15. We did 12, and then we did an extra 3 after the 12, so we could get to 1,000. It was 15. But anyway,
The dog agrees.
Yeah.
Aaron seems like he would voted to outlaw dancing in Footloose.
No argument. Which song gets white people going more? Come On Eileen or Sweet Caroline? I'm gonna go with Sweet Caroline because we all know the words to Sweet Caroline. Come On Eileen,
Yes.
you kind of there's some
Okay, I like that.
What are the other Journey
White anthems.
Oh yeah, Don't
Journey,
Stop Believing.
Don't Stop Believing gets white people
Mr.
immediately. As soon as
Oh, Mr.
Mr. Brightside.
Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Brightside.
Guilty pleasure of that.
As soon as white people hear boom, bo-do-dum, bo-do-dum, like Don't Stop Believing just rocks the house immediately.
Seven Nation Army.
That's European people more than it is like white people specifically.
We all have a friend in our friend group that when Mr. Brightside comes on, he just goes all out.
And in
That's
your
me.
friend group, that friend is you, Brent.
No, it's not. It's my friend Steve. My friend Steve. He loves it. Believe me, I handle most other songs, but I let Steve have Mr. Brightside.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that. I did fuck Country Roads. That song's about people from Virginia, not West Virginia.
Although I did have a friend in high school. His mom's name was Eileen, and I abused the crap out of that song, and she really hated me for a while.
Did you?
Say, come on,
Nothing to do with
Eileen.
I don't want to know what happened with you and Eileen.
Yeah, I ain't gonna tell you either.
Ice, baby.
Stacy's mom.
She's got it going on, bro.
Follow-up question: Jennifer Lopez or Halle Berry?
Halle Berry.
Man,
J-Lo.
Hallelujah.
yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll go J-Lo, but man, Shakira. There's something about Shakira.
See, that's the thing. I think Shakira does J-Lo better than J-Lo, so I'll take Halle Berry.
I tell you what, that Super Bowl performance, I was like,
Right. Shakira dominated
Shakira.
J-Lo. Dominated J-Lo.
And now that we found that side of Brent, get us out of here, Brent.
Oh, relax. But hey, guys, another
Come on,
fun
Eileen.
week. Come on, Eileen. Say, all right, but hey, another huge week, guys. Another huge week. Kind of a weird week off for basketball. Get some things in line for their Sunday game, 2 p.m. against Northern Kentucky. We'll be talking a lot throughout the week about that, and then of course, football. Another chance to ride the win streak one more game, make it rolling at West Virginia, Morgantown. Against the Mountaineers. That's again at 2:30 on Saturday at the Holy Grail. Head down there for the watch party. So
You know what we
a lot
should
of action.
do?
What's
We
that?
should get an outsider's view. Go see Brent.
Okay, here we go. Real quick.
Come in.
2.5 hours.
No, you got to be on camera. Try one of these and tell me what you think. Tiger wants one. I don't think he wants it.
Dog will eat that. Sure.
Oh, that's not a good sign for the dog.
A little liquid shit all over the carpet. Is that what it for you, Chad?
Boilers did not cover, but hey, they won.
How's that? What's your take on the Tapatio Doritos?
Hot.
It's hot. Yeah, it's hot.
Spiked.
Is it like hotter than like flaming hot Cheeto hot?
Hotter than flaming hot Cheetos hot?
I like equal.
They're about equal, she said.
Okay,
Okay.
equal.
So they're
There you go.
not like extreme. You can sit back and chew on them.
They're hot. They're hot, but they're not like absurdly hot.
And that is the review of the Tapatio Doritos here on the BBP. Oh, yeah.
They're hot.
They
That's
are
the review.
hot. Coming in hot. Just as
Let's
the
go.
basketball team is coming in hot. A chance to continue 4-0 this Sunday. And, of course, basketball game on Saturday. So stay locked into BCJ throughout the week. But yet again,
All right.
for my shout out to Home Field Apparel, shout out to Danco
Mouth on fire.
Transmission and Auto Care, shout out to Quick Paper Supply. But for my guys, pals, partners, Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, Ryan Royer, I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.